Hi everyone. So today let us take the first step in the learning process of machine learning. So the first step is to understand the Python programming language. Before trying to understand the Python programming language, I would like to suggest every one of you to install the Anaconda prompt, which has an amazing app called Jupyter Notebook, which enables us to understand the program quite easily. It has a quite interactive interface so that we can easily understand what's happening in the entire code. So, okay, let us start our Python basic classes with the concept called variables. So, before trying to understand the concept called variables, I would like to give you some example. So, the main goal or the main aim of any program written in any language is to take some input data and process the data and produce the corresponding output data. So, when you try to understand this process, the main aim is to operate the data. The main heart of a program is data. So, in order to store the data, we need some location or some space. We need some location or some space in the memory. So, a variable is nothing but a container which holds the data, and the name given to the container is called identifier. Okay, keeping that aside, so here we can see that a variable in Python is like a container. It holds any type of content in it irrespective of its data type. In the sense, a variable is a container, as I said, which holds any type of data irrespective of the data type. Here we can see that we are assigning a value 9 to the A. In the sense, we are storing the value 9 in the container named A. So here we can observe that the second line contains the type of A. Here type of is a function which is used to return the type of the value present in the container. We can understand the concept functions later in this session. So for now, we can see the type of the data that is stored in the container A is int. Here we can observe that the value 3.0 is assigned to a variable A. In the sense, the same container A is now holding the value 3.0. And when I try to pass this variable to the type of function, the type of function returns the data type to be float. And again, in the same container A, I am trying to store the string Aman. Anything enclosed between single or double or triple quotations is a string. So here we can see that the same variable A is now holding the value Aman. And when I try to pass the variable A to the type of function, it returns the str. In the sense, the content that is stored in the variable A is now string. So we can observe that the same variable, here we can see that the same variable or the same container is used to store different values irrespective of its data type, because here in the first case we can see that it is an integer data type, in the second case we can see that it is a float data type, in the third case we can see that it is string data type. Now let us try to understand the concept called identifiers. As I said in the previous example, the name given to the variable is nothing but an identifier. In the previous example, we can see that we have given the name A to the container, which is a identifier. There are certain rules that are to be followed when we are assigning a name to a variable or a function. Those rules can be understood in the above content. So I would like to explain these rules in the examples first, and then let us go to the content. Okay, here I try to assign a value 2 to the variable name 1aman, but I got syntax error. I got confused why this syntax error has occurred. So when I tried to remove this value 1 before the variable name and then I executed, there is no error here. We can observe right, there is no syntax error. So in the same way, I tried to assign a value 4 to the variable aman at the rate 58, but I got a syntax error. So then there is a question why I got syntax error. The solution is that when I tried to remove this at the rate between Aman and 58, when I executed this, now I didn't got any error here. Now we can see that we didn't got any syntax error here. In the sense, a variable should not contain any special character. So here we can see this in the third example. When I tried to assign the value 7 to the word if, I got a syntax error. So here if is a predefined keyword in the Python programming language. So when I try to use the predefined keyword, so when I try to assign the value to the predefined keyword in the Python programming language, we got syntax error. So from this we can understand the third rule that a identifier should not be a keyword. What the first rule states? The first rule states that the Python identifier is made with a combination of lowercase or uppercase letters, digits, or underscores. So this is not a rule, but this states the condition of writing an identifier. So now let us try to see some correct examples for identifier to understand the first rule. So we can see that the first example, num1, which is a combination of letters, which is a combination of lowercase letters and digit, and it does not have any digit at the starting position, and it does not contain any special characters, and it is not a keyword. So in the sense, this is a valid identifier. So when we try to see the second example, which is a word flag, here the flag is a valid identifier because it is contains of combinations of uppercase letters and it does not start with a digit and it does not have any special symbol and it is not a keyword. So in the sense, this is a valid identifier. In the same case, get underscore user underscore name. Here we can see that the variable name contains the combinations of letters and underscores, which is allowed. We can see in this first rule, right? Using underscore is allowed, and it is not starting with a digit, and it is not containing any special symbol in it, and it is not a keyword. So in the sense, it's a valid identifier. When you try to see user details, it is a combination of letters and it is not having any special symbols and it is not starting with any digit and it is not a keyword. So in the sense, it is a valid identifier. When we try to see this example, most of the people will get confused. This is also a valid identifier because it is a combination of underscores and digits, which is satisfying the first rule. And the second rule states that it should not start with a digit. Here it is starting with underscore, it is not starting with a digit. So second rule is satisfied. Third rule states that it cannot contain any special symbols. Here it does not have any special symbols in it. So third rule is satisfied. And fourth rule states that a keyword cannot be an identifier. It is not a keyword. So all the rules for this example are satisfied. So it is a valid identifier.